There are some movies where what you're seeing on screen really comes as no surprise, but Cowboys and Aliens transcends this slightly by giving it multiple meanings. First off, it's a movie where you get exactly what you expect. A slightly goofy, tongue-in-cheek action movie which comes across as the result of taking the genres of Western and sci-fi and sending them in opposite directions down the Large Hadron Collider. Second, and less fortunate, is an element of predictability that arises from the movie building up mysteries and having it be not quite worth the lead-up, which I'll get into more later. I'm going to throw out my customary spoiler warning, but I'll do so somewhat tentatively, as most everyone is going to be able to figure out the main plot points with relative ease. We open with Daniel Craig waking up in the middle of the desert as a Western outlaw with amnesia and a BFG 9000 bracelet on his wrist, a welcome upgrade from his last major role as the Ninny Muggins version of James Bond. It doesn't take too long to really get into the swing of things, and opens with a promise of a well-paced screenplay, although whether or not it keeps this promise is rather debatable. The troubled western town he finds himself in is soon attacked by the titular aliens, who kidnap many of their residents because that's just what aliens do. The grumpy old colonel, played by Harrison Ford, then commissions Craig and his arm cannon to track down the aliens and get the townspeople back, among whom is Ford's annoying, bitchy, arrogant son, who the audience really doesn't want to be rescued and is only there to give Ford's character motivation to hunt down the aliens, and yeah. They set up a posse and head off following the aliens' trail. Along the way, Craig starts to get his memories back, mainly as he interacts with Olivia, exotic-looking I'm totally not an alien in disguise Wilde as the town's mystery woman, who clearly knows everything about Craig's past but is staying mysterious for rather thin reasons, as is this film's irritating habit. The group goes on a trek across the landscape with several alien encounters along the way, which sometimes result in hokey, overdramatic death scenes of characters who we barely know and haven't been fleshed out nearly as well as Craig or Ford. There's so little attention paid to most of the supporting cast that we really can't even feel bad when they die, even though the movie clearly expects us to. As the second act draws to a close, the posse is captured by the Jack Sparrow tribe of Native Americans, and here's where the movie tells anyone who didn't guess it an hour ago that Olivia Wilde is an alien spy, as well as teases us with the possibility of a nudie shot and a deeper meaning, but doesn't quite reach either one. The Western settlers are being attacked viciously by an advanced civilization that's looking to mine the land clean of gold, an obvious metaphor for something to do with what happened to the Native Americans, which the movie skirts around just a little bit too coyly. I can understand the film's reason for keeping this as an undercurrent so as to not to be preachy, and I can respect that. The problem is, said undercurrent is so weak that it amounts to little more than water seeping through the dirt after a squirt gun fight at a picnic. This theme just didn't get the attention it deserved and only needed an infinitesimal bit more. Now, every problem with this movie, including some smaller ones I haven't elaborated on, can be attributed to an entire guild's worth of writers that worked on this screenplay. The movie plays out like a work that had some major elements cut from it and other elements that weren't deleted, added, or altered to compensate. The writing is rather patched and frayed and is the result of a classic too many cooks in the kitchen syndrome, and the chef only knows one recipe with all the directions written out of order. Most, if not all, of these writers are involved with J.J. Abrams, the mastermind behind TV's greatest ad-lib, Lost, and his fingerprints are all over this movie as well. The whole unbalanced ratio of huge build-up to mysteries versus minimal payoff is pretty much his trademark move, and it doesn't help that that's a core mechanic around which lies a highly inconsistent set of story and character arcs. In an ideal world, one or two writers devoting their full attention to their work could have given us a tighter, streamlined, and much more coherent screenplay from which to produce this movie. But of course, in an ideal world, I would have an automated pizza bakery in my room, spicy friends with benefits relationships with 3 beautiful women, and a laser cannon wrist gauntlet like Craig wears. This is a pretty fun movie for the spectacle of seeing the Cowboys and Aliens duke it out, but a smoother screenplay could have definitely upped the fun factor by eliminating most of the confusion and tonal shifts in the story, and giving the director something to work with that doesn't make him want to punch zoo animals in the face. While I can't give this movie a strong recommendation, I can't really write it off either. If you really want to spend an afternoon seeing how this silly premise gets manifested, then go nuts. Well, of course, from a critic's perspective, if this film's existence means I don't ever have to go near the Smurfs, that's just okay by me.